My first immediate reaction was, there's no way that's real. There is no way that Jay Gruden wrote that as a serious tweet, because if he did, he has zero self-awareness. Well, he did. And I could not wait to jump on this one.
Morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Let's go ahead and get down to the nitty-gritty with Jay Gruden.
Jay Gruden, when I was in Washington, didn't say great things about him, right?
There was a moment in D.C. that is vividly remembered. Everyone talked about it because Jay Gruden went to a press conference and he undressed me at that press conference in a way that a coach should never undress his starting quarterback.
Everybody else should be okay.
Robert's comments that he can't be great without others around him being great. Do you believe that to be true for a quarterback yesterday? In Robert's performance, did he need others to be great for him to be great?
Well, first of all, Robert needs to understand he needs to worry about himself, number one, and not everybody else. It's his job to worry about his position, his footwork, his fundamentals, his reads, his progressions, his job at the quarterback position. It's my job to worry about everybody else. And yes, everybody else needs to improve. There's no question about it. But it's not his place. His place is to talk about himself, and he knows that. That's, he just elaborate a little bit too much, and, he'll learn from it. He's 24 years old. He wants everything to be perfect around him, and yesterday was far from perfect. He's got to improve. The offensive line has to improve. Everybody has to improve. Myself. I mean, you're 3-7.
We didn't play well. I didn't see the field as well as I would have liked to. We had turnovers. I can't throw interceptions. We had false start penalties, holding penalties. It was just bad ball out there today. And it's not that we look past Tampa Bay, because we can't afford to look past anybody. The fact of the matter is we're not a very good football team right now, and we got a long way to go. And every guy's got to look himself in the mirror and say that to himself. You can't sit in your locker or be out on the field and say, well, it's not my fault. I'm a baller. I'm an all-pro. I'm a Pro Bowl player. Because right now we have no Pro Bowl players. We're not playing that way. I'm not playing that way. The line's not playing that way. Our receivers aren't playing that way. The backs aren't playing that way. Our defense isn't playing that way. Our special teams isn't playing that way. And we all know that. Coaches reiterated that to us many times. And guys have to accept that. Accept that we have a long way to go. Accept that we have to get better. And it starts in practice, walkthroughs, film. You got to do more. You got to do more, and you got to get better.
So this moment I'm talking about happened, I believe, in 2014, the 2014 season. And it was after a game. And I said in the press conference that the best players in the NFL have the guys around them play at an extremely high level. No one is out there doing it on their own. Now, the media pundits and everyone took that and said RG3 threw his teammates under the bus. And I had to eat that for a long time, because Jay didn't back me in the media the next day. He doubled down on it and actually picked me apart in the media.
Well, first of all, Robert needs to understand he needs to worry about himself, number one, and not everybody else. It's his job to worry about his position, his footwork, his fundamentals, his reads, his progressions, his job at the quarterback position. It's my job to worry about everybody else. His place is to talk about himself, and he knows that.
But what people don't know is that the only reason I went to that press conference and said what I said to challenge my teammates through that press conference was because Jay Gruden asked me to do that. He asked me to do that earlier in the week. If the game didn't go the way we wanted it to go and we ended up losing, he said, I need you to challenge the guys to be better. And I need you to challenge them in a public way through a press conference. Now, what hurt me about that was the fact that after I did that in the press conference, not only did Jay Gruden not have my back, but he actually burned me with it. He came out the next day and burned me in the media. He came out the next day in a meeting in our team meeting room and burned me in front of my own teammates. So I stood up on the stage. I apologized to my teammates for even what I believed was taken out of context. I took accountability for what I said and apologized to my teammates in the front of that team meeting. Now, Jay, knowing that he had asked me to do that and still went to the media and tore me down to the media, even in that room, he looked at me and he said, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, which was Aaron Rodgers, because I mentioned Aaron and Peyton in the press conference.
How was it you were so effective your first year and then you struggled like you did today?
Because we were playing good team ball, man. It takes 11 men. It doesn't take one guy. That's proven. You know, if you want to look at the good teams in this league or the great quarterbacks, the Peytons, the Aaron Rodgers, those guys don't play well if their guys don't play well. They don't. We need everybody. I need every one of those guys in that locker room. And I know they're looking at me saying the same thing. I'm going to be there for them. I promise that. I'll give it to them every day. I'll never quit on them. I need them to do the same. And I know they will. I believe they will. I mean, what else am I supposed to believe? I believe in my teammates. We'll get it done.
And I looked over at Jay Gruden, and I told him I was not comparing myself to effing Aaron Rodgers.
By Henry Black. The hit on Rodgers, but
So when you talk to me about Jay Gruden, understand that I haven't talked about Jay. I haven't talked about any coaches that have been there in a negative way because I've moved on with my life.
All that stuff you heard.
Right.
Talk to us about what truly happened, and talk to us about what was false that has been put out there about you that annoyed you to no end.
Yeah, okay, so, you know, what I'll say is this is my first time actually having this opportunity to state these things on TV. I've done it in radio over the past couple months and stuff, but I'd like to look forward. Sure. But I'm not going to dodge that question.
If Jay wants to talk, we can talk. And what you have to first do, Jay Gruden, is take accountability for what you did and what you didn't do. So don't come to me talking about all these sly shots when you're the one who asked me to do something in the media that I haven't talked about for almost 10 years. 10 years I haven't talked about it. Now we're talking about it. So if you keep going, I'm just letting you know right now, don't play with me. Don't play with me. I will absolutely end any credibility that you did have, let alone with that last name.
Seriously, is that illegal or what?
I
saw a flag here.
I don't know.
Is that a penalty?
I don't know if that's a penalty.
I've never seen this. I called it the sniffer. I mean, this guy right here is clearly.
He was trying to block. There's just no one to block. So
You guys average 46 points a game. Don't you think you can make 1 yard without using this technique?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could. We never got called for it. And
you could get killed doing this. You know
we
that.
could.
I mean, look at you.
Pushed me right into a hit. But, you know, you got to do what you have to do to help your team win. And that's what we did.
Robert, it must have been humbling for the coach to talk about the fundamental issues from the game on Sunday. It's 32 games, 32 starts into your NFL career. Do you need to start maybe evaluating either how you practice or film study? I mean, do you need to make changes into how you go about things in order to correct some of those fundamentals?
Jay wants me to play better. I want to play better. We're focused on San Francisco and making that happen. So that's all I got to say about that.
You looked back at the way Robert played yesterday. You said you couldn't quite put your finger on it. You had to figure out what was holding him back. What did you see? Was it just more of the same? Was it a different type of struggles?
Just from Robert's perspective, you take everybody else out of the picture. Robert had some fundamental flaws. He did. His footwork was below average. You know, he took 3-step drops when he should have taken 5. He took 1-step drop when he should have taken 3 on a couple occasions, and that can't happen. He stepped up when he didn't have to step up and stepped into pressure. He read the wrong side of the field a couple times. So from his basic performance, just critiquing Robert, it was not even close to being good enough to what we expect from that quarterback position.
How is that possible that at this point in his development, in his career, that he would have that sort of fundamentally flawed game?
You know, I think, you know, sometimes once the game gets going and the adrenaline starts going, sometimes you see things that maybe aren't there. You speed things up when you shouldn't speed things up, and you feel a sense of urgency that isn't quite there. You just have to play with a little bit greater poise and continue to rep these things out. So when you take a drop when you catch a shotgun snap or take a drop from under center, that should be the last thing you should think about. That should come natural. And right now, for whatever reason, those aren't coming natural, and that's on us as a staff. We got to make sure we make it as natural for them as possible.
Is that what happened? The interception, is that sort of what happened there at all? Or what did you see with that one?
The second one?
The one that was returned for a touchdown where the linebacker just read his eyes and pops through.
Read his eyes, yeah. That particular play, he's got to keep his eyes in the right place, and he stared down the receiver too long, and the linebacker did a great job of reading it and flowing into to the passing lane and made a play. But, you know, he understands that in that type of coverage, he's the free player that he has to control with his eyes and then throw accordingly. But he stared down Pierre a little bit too long, and the linebacker made a play.
Robert, you're a guy who's enjoyed talking to the media, enjoys the interaction, but yet you're always in the center of some sort of controversy. Is there any thought to dialing it back and saying less and just not being in the center of it all?
Yeah, man, like I said, we're focused on San Francisco, so that's all we got.
Going back and looking at the tape, looking at the games, anything in particular you're wanting to be working on this week and improving in your game?
Everything, man. Like I said, Jay wants me to play better. I want to play better. We want to win. That's all we're focused on, getting a win. And we got San Francisco coming up. They're not going to make it easy.
When he talks about footwork and remembering, 5-step drops, 3-step drops, is that just something that you have to rep out, or how does a quarterback improve precision on his footwork and things like that?
Yeah, man. Like I said, just focus on San Francisco now.
When Griffin looks at those fundamental flaws on tape, the drops or whatever the issues might be, how does he receive that information? Is he open? Is he seeing the same thing on tape?
He's open. He's absolutely open about it, and he understands he didn't play his best game. He's very frustrated with the way he played. Obviously, there's a lot of things he could have done better to help us win. Just talking about Robert, and he has to be receptive. That's just part of the position. You got to be able to get coached and understand that when you make a mistake, you have to learn from it and not do it again.
This year has set back your development?
Oh, man. I've only been able to play a couple games, but, we got another one coming up, and that's all we're promised. So I'm just focused on San Francisco, doing what I can to help this team win. Focus on San Francisco, man, not letting anything on the outside distract us from that. And we got to take care of what we got to take care of. We got enough to worry about here in these doors. Like I said, I'm going to trust the guys around me, trust that we're all going to go out there and execute the game plan, and that's all we got this week. Like I said, man, focus on San Francisco. I'm my second offense in the league, and just trying to hammer everything down and get better at my craft like Coach wants me to. Yeah, like I said, focus on San Francisco, man. That's all I can do. We're all pointing towards the same thing. We want to get a win against San Francisco. Just preparing for San Francisco, man. That's all I can do.
How tough is this for you that you don't feel like you can just be yourself and talk like you want to talk?
Hey, it is what it is. You get what you ask for. So I'm focused on San Francisco. Jay wants me to be focused on San Francisco, and that's what I'm going to do. We're all focused on the same thing: winning, staying together, and beating San Francisco.
Everybody's eyebrows raised a little bit when Jay gave the harsh critique of your game and everything like that. Had he talked to you about different things he wanted you to work on yet?
Yeah, like I said, we both want to win, and he wants me to play better. I want to play better. That's what we're focused on.
Obviously, Robert, a lot of stuff that you said Sunday and stuff that Jay said on Sunday and Monday has been analyzed to a pretty heavy degree. Is there anything that you'd like to clear up from what you said on Sunday?
No, I already said it via the power of social media, so there's no point in me saying it again here and bringing the topic back up. Said what I had to say. I had what I had to say and addressed it with the team, and we're all on the same page.
Robert, as you focus on San Francisco in these next 4 days, what's your level of confidence that you will play better and that the locker room will stay united?
Yeah, I have an extreme confidence that that's going to happen. That's our only focus, and like I said, we're not going to act like a 3-7 football team. We're going to go out there and push forward and push towards the future.
All right, well, we turn to the Redskins. Yep. And, of course, the last time we heard from Jay Gruden when he took to the podium, he had plenty to say about Robert Griffin III.
I don't think Jay said anything publicly that he hadn't already said to RG3. Sometimes we try to keep a story going, blow it up, read between the lines. The bottom line is here, and you tell me where you disagree. The Redskins are bad. The team knows it. Jay Gruden knows it, and certainly RG3 knows it. But today, everybody wanted to see what Griffin would say about the public dress down Jay Gruden gave him at Monday's press conference. RG3's meeting with the media lasted 7 minutes, 30 seconds. He took 24 questions. Griffin said he was focused on San Francisco 9 times.
Yeah, like I said, focus on San Francisco, man. That's all I can do.
Washington at San Francisco. How are these guys getting along these days?
Yeah. Let's see. Both of them sold each other out.
Second play of the game, Aldon Smith with his first sack of the year.
You do know he's coming, right, RG3? You know when you have the ball in your hand, people want you.
RG3 meeting Ray McDonald. He was sacked 5 times on this day.
Keep it going, buddy.
Peeling himself off the turf all afternoon.
I guess what I'm trying to get at and
there's no way that's real.
RG3.
Enough. I want to get back. I want to rewind the clock a little bit because I've never had the pleasure of sitting on the show with you.
He was 11 of 19 for a $106. 106 yards passing. Here's 24 of them to Pierre Garçon. Griffin
can't get out the way.
Get rid of it. It's got to go.
Eric Reed and Aaron Lynch make an RG3 Subway sandwich. However, Lynch flagged for helmet-to-helmet contact.
Where else you gonna hit it? You go low, they gonna call it.
The ball. Nobody open right there. He got to eat that, boy.
Does RG3 have it in him with under a minute to go? The answer is not so much. Justin Smith knocks it away. Ahmad Brooks, who decided to play the entire game, picks it up, and the Niners improve to 7-4.
Peel the man off the carpet.
Yeah, like I said, focus on San Francisco, man. That's all I can do.
RG3, as we know, got in a little bit of hot water with his post-game comments.
What I make of it is that Gruden finally showed up to coach this football team.
What does it mean, though? Is this the first sign that Robert Griffin III is on his way out in Washington, or is it the first sign that he's on his way into the outs with the new head coach as he was with the old coach Mike Shanahan?
I guess what I'm trying to get at
ultimately, a lot of people are making it out me against Robert. It's not at all. I have a lot of respect for Robert as a quarterback, Robert as a person.
And this man put me on scout team at safety. So I'm like, all right, listen, I turned down Texas A&M, I turned down Texas, I turned down all these schools in college to go play a different position. And now I'm in the NFL, former franchise player, playing scout team safety. And there was that practice, it happened. It didn't happen ever again after that because the media caught a hold of it and kind of put it out there like, RG3's playing scout team safety. I don't know who found out. I didn't tell anybody, but
he was playing scout team safety.
When is
last week?
I'm surprised he would do that.
So he already kind of has a bad rep with his teammates. Maybe he's trying to kind of impress them by taking one for the team.
Enough. I want to get back. I want to rewind the clock a little bit because I've never had the pleasure of sitting on the show with you, even though you and I have communicated on and off throughout the years. Thank you for being here.
I walked in the building. I was the first guy in, last guy out. I respected the coaches. I did everything they asked me to do. When they said, hey, we're going to run quarterback draw on 3rd and 17, I ran quarterback draw on 3rd and 17 and tried to get 17 yards. So I did everything they asked me to do. I can't sit here and try to defend anybody from there. I haven't heard from anybody from there in a while, and I'm not there. And I've tried, at the end of the day.
Just preparing for San Francisco, man.
Jay Gruden, when I was in Washington, didn't say great things about me, right? But in my exit meeting in 2016, when I left, he shook my hand, looked me in my face and said, I respect the way you handled everything, despite it not going the way that you wanted to go, and especially because of the things that he had said about me.
Right.
To me, that was the biggest vote of confidence, right? The biggest compliment he could have gave me was, hey, I know I said some bad stuff about you and I didn't really treat you the right way, but I respect the way that you handled it because you handled it as a pro.
Of course, I would rather. Was that some sort of an apology?
some sort of an apology, but of course I wouldn't have wanted that to happen. But at the end of the day,
just preparing for San Francisco, man.